Hi guys, this is Mentor Tuba. I am back with the explanation of PMP scenario. I am sure that you're going to find this scenario very interesting because it talks about the project roles and responsibilities, which is a confusing topic in the real world projects. So let me read out the scenario first and then we are going to discuss the option choices. The scenario says that the project manager has gained the support of senior management who has committed to providing the necessary funding to design and develop a prototype for a new initiative. The project manager is working on creating the project charter and needs someone to serve as the project sponsor. Which of the following best meets the needs of the project manager? Option A, project manager himself. Option B, project management office, which is PMO. Option C, any project team member. And option D, any person or entity external to the project. So I'm sure even without start discussing, you must be finding it interesting. And to be very honest with you, based on the context provided in the question, it is difficult to mark a person or an entity with 100% surety as a project sponsor in this case. I am saying this as a disclaimer. But the question is not asking about the 100% right person or organization for this role. They are asking about your best understanding that who should be best meeting the needs of the project manager to serve as the project sponsor while authorizing the project with the project charter, right? So the picture in this scenario is that a project has just got an approval for funding from the organizational senior management, and the project manager is working on the charter, which is an artifact which formally authorizes and announces the project and the project manager in the organization. And of course, one other aspect about the charter is that the charter is authorized and signed off by a sponsor, right? So as of now, organization hasn't nominated any person or any entity as the sponsor. But project manager needs someone to authorize a project charter. And in this context, we need to help him with the right person to serve as probably an acting project sponsor till the time organization formally announces someone as to take up that role. Now, this is the context, right? And the project manager, the approval from the organization is the funding approval, to be specific, from the organization is to design and develop the prototype of the new initiative. Let's check the roles one by one and let's check that who qualifies as the best person or role to serve as the sponsor. Of course, all of these are roles. We don't have the exact person and we are not interested in any person. We are interested in roles only, whoever serves that role in the project. Option A, project manager himself. So project manager himself nominates as the sponsor till the time the sponsor is not there. In some organization, this actually happens that in the very beginning of the project, when the project, like no team member is there, no other steering committee member or board members are there. It's only the project manager who is there in the pre-sales activities and in the demonstration, the customer demonstration activities, like the pre-sales customer demonstrations. It's usually the project manager only. And usually the role of the sponsor is performed by someone in the senior management, like, or maybe the organization himself. So this could be a choice in the real life projects where the situation could be different. But as per the best practices, the sponsor should be there in the project from the very beginning, like as early as possible. And sponsor is a person who formally authorizes the existence of project manager and the project itself in the organization. He signs off the person who is going to be serving as a project manager and the exact project charter. And he also hires the project manager, right? As per the regular process, it should be going like this. Like first, the organization or maybe the portfolio committee or senior management nominates a sponsor as an accountable person for the project. And the sponsor nominates and hires the project manager and signs off the charter and circulate that charter across the organization or multi organizations if that applies. And then from that point onwards, the project manager take the process forward in the project management life cycle. So A is going to be a huge conflict of interest if project manager himself nominates as a sponsor or acting sponsor, and this is going to be this is not going to be right as well, because the role of the sponsor and project manager is very conflicting in nature. It could bring a lot of bias in the project as well. So A is out. B, project management office. Now this is interesting. Project management office could be a good candidate to serve as a sponsor or could serve as a sponsor from the organization side till the time organization nominates someone more specifically, for the reason that project management office is a lot of different roles to play. I know in my previous videos I have mentioned that PMO's role is more supporting and more assurance based and guidance based, and not really authoritative and kind of decision making entity. But if needed, the PMOs could be used for this, not for the whole life cycle of the project, but like in the initiation phases of the project when things are being sorted out and the different roles and responsibilities are also being sorted out. And for your information, PMOs could be of wide variety. There are those PMOs who perform the role of guidance and support and best practices in implementation and like everything related to that. Then there are those PMOs which are more strategic and authoritative in nature, like value-based PMOs and strategic level PMOs. Then there are those PMOs which are more towards process enforcement, and they have some check and balance process as well, audit and controlling processes as well. Then there are those PMOs which actually are 100% authoritative when it comes to decision making. They are usually at an enterprise or at a more strategic level, like enterprise PMOs or transformational bodies, change or driven PMOs. Like those are usually working at an organizational level, and they join hands and collaborate with the portfolio committees and the executive committees of the organization. So they have like more say and power. So we are not really sure, like I already gave you a disclaimer in the beginning, that we are not sure that which type of PMO we are actually dealing with over here, but this could be a very good candidate to serve as the sponsor or like an accountable entity for the program till the time that role is formally handed over to a more a more specific person. Although this is also not recommended that the roles are being handed over in the capacity of sponsorship. This is also not as per the best practices, but the situation could be different in different organization and different projects. So B is a good candidate. Let's check option C and D. Option C says any project team member. This is definitely ruled out. The project team members, like they are team members, they get the project work done. They work at a more tactical and executional level, and they do not possess the right level of authority and say in the organization to serve as a sponsor. So this is clearly out. Option D, any person or entity external to the project. Now, when I posted this question on my regular Friday polls, this is the option most of the people opted for, by saying that the sponsor, who is the accountable person in the project, and he takes accountability of making the project a success in the organization, and he is the financial caretaker of the project, as well as he allocates the resources and he has the ultimate say in the project and in the organization for this project, he should be a person external to the project. I don't disagree. Yes, the sponsor is all of this, and sponsor can be external to the project. Sponsor can be internal to the project as well. Sponsor can be a mix of both as well, and sponsor can be multiple as well. There's a concept of executive and non-executive sponsors in organizations and projects as well. You can have even more than two types of sponsors as well, like more than internal, external. You can have like categories within the external and categories within the internal sponsorship as well. So there is no hard and fast one answer to this particular point. However, in this particular scenario, option D is not the best thing to do. Why? Because if you reread the question, that the project manager has gained the approval of the senior management to provide the necessary funding to design and develop a prototype for this initiative. So this approval actually has come internal to the organization. So most likely, again, we don't know the complete context, but whatever we know from this scenario, most likely the sponsorship is going to be coming from the organization, appointed by the senior management or the executive committees. Right? This is how it goes. The external sponsorship only applies when the funding or some kind of funding framework or sourcing is coming from outside of the organization, which is not at least the information available in the question. So a person or entity external to the project or external to the organization doesn't make sense. And like, this is one context. The other context why option D is not the best thing to do or best thing to consider in this case is by saying that the sponsor is always external, because I saw those comments on my poll that sponsor should always be external and sponsor can't be internal and he should be coming from outside the organization. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, yes or no, both applies. It depends on more context. Sponsor nomination or sponsor selection by the organization or by the external authorities has like their own criteria. Usually the criteria for hiring a person as a sponsor depends on, number one, experience and expertise in that subject matter which the project is dealing with. Number two, the right influence, power, and say in the organization. Number three, his availability and capacity to take up that work in the organization. And number four, he has the right, knowledge and maybe technical or other related skills in that capacity. So there are criteria to hire a sponsor, but that person can be coming from your own organization. That person can be coming from PMO. That person can be coming from a department. That person can be coming maybe outside the organization, can be hired for the project. But usually the sponsorship is hired or is selected from your own organization, because the person who is sitting inside the organization knows the best about the, in and out of multiple areas and things going on and the problems going on in the organization. A person who comes from outside most likely would never understand the situation that way. But again, that depends on more context. If most of the funding is coming from outside the organization for a project, then most likely the sponsor is going to be coming also outside the organization. I hope you like this explanation. Option B in this particular context is the best thing to go with. I will be back very soon with the explanation of new scenario. If you have anything to say or anything to share, and if you still are not agreeing with my explanation, please do let me know in the comment area. I will definitely make sure to clear out your confusion. I am going to come back with the explanation of a new PMP scenario very soon. Till then, take care. Goodbye.